Hi, everybody. My name's Chris Barton.
And I'm Jennifer Ziegler. And we both write books for young people. And we love talking with other authors, particularly about their dedications.
That's what this one's dedicated to is all about. Today, we are joined by middle grade author Jennifer Gennari to talk about the dedication in her book, Muffled. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, thank you two so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Would you mind kicking us off by reading aloud the dedication in your book?
I'm happy to. Okay, so here it is. Here's Muffled. And dedication goes like this. For John Schlag, who taught me to listen.
And would you mind telling us a little bit about John and why the book was dedicated to him?
So John is my husband, and I decided to dedicate it to him because I grew up in a gregarious family of interrupters and critics and loud talkers. And so when we married, I gradually was like realizing that he needs a lot more space and time in our conversations. So like Amelia, John is sensitive to sound. And what that means is that I need to take extra time to make sure he's not overwhelmed, and I wait often to see if he has something else to say. And this is a talent that once I left home, I realized like, oh, interrupting is not good. And so taking that time to get comfortable with silence and giving people a chance to finish their thoughts or to make sure you have their attention before you speak again. All of these things were things that I gradually really learned to master in helping our communication improve. When public speakers really emphasize how important it is to speak without trying to fill those silences. And so that's like another thing that I realized as well. It's like, yeah, don't rush in with the or the get used to silence. John definitely inspired me to invent this character, Amelia, who shares some of his traits and then some are different, of course. She is her own person.
Are there particular things that you learned from John about listening or about sound sensitivity that directly shaped how you wrote Muffled or how you revised Muffled?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I mean, one of the things that I was trying to figure out is ways that she can cope with the feelings of being overwhelmed. And he definitely explained that whole idea that you need space to recharge, maybe some alone time, and that is a very critical part for a lot of kids today. I also talked to a lot of teachers and therapists about what is it like for kids. Some of them are wearing those noise canceling headphones in the classroom. It's much more common, and how that can cause social isolation. And that's, of course, some of the issues that Amelia is dealing with. But it is interesting, too, that John loves music. And we had this, there's a real connection between music and math. And I had Amelia be very good at math. And her best friend, Madge, who is very loud, is not so good at math, but good at music. And so it was fun to have them both have skills that they could then share with each other. And those are just some of the fun things. Once I get going, everything just kind of bubbles up. I'm sure you guys know things from your own childhood, it can infuse the story. And for me, when I was a child, there was a huge blizzard in Boston, and the silence of that storm, because all the traffic stopped, is actually the seed of where this story came from. Because I thought to myself later, what if that silence wasn't just nice, but really necessary for some people? And so there's a snowstorm in the story, and all of those kinds of things, like counting sidewalk lines. I did a lot of walking to school by myself when I was a child.
So did you know from the get-go that you would dedicate it to John, or was there a point where you realized it?
I knew right away because there's another reason. This is my second book. My first book, My Mixed Up Berry Blue Summer, I dedicated to my daughters as my first readers. And I was like, well, next you got to do your husband, right? You can't leave him off, or I don't know, maybe it's okay.
Good.
But-
Yeah.
So, but he's also a really great reader. He has been in the film business for a while, and so he knows a lot about story. And so he also, I knew it was going to be to him because of the ways in which he has supported me in pursuing this dream, and also as my editor. Like he's good. He'll catch like proofreading errors all the time.
How did John find out that this book was dedicated to him? Was that tricky did you try to keep it a secret?
I did not try to keep it a secret. I think though that there was a moment where I typed it into the Word document and like gave it to him to read. And he said, "Oh, I see." You know, especially the part adding "who taught me to listen." I think that surprised him.
Mhm.
And I said, "It's true." You know, I definitely started on my path of being no longer an interrupter, although I'm still in training. And you know, that's something that I feel strongly about, that it takes listening in every relationship. Well, I would love to talk a little bit about the cover. So
Love
the cover, a lot of people, I don't know, can you guys tell what's going on with these lines? Do you know what those are?
Ooh, they're musical.
They are. It's a musical staff. And when they came up with this concept, it's sort of like a musical note here, because music is a big part of this book. And they hired this guy, Javier Perez. I can't say enough about him. You can find him on social media at Cinta Scotch, CINTA Scotch. And he's known for this, for taking found objects or photographs of objects and then doing illustrations, a lot of animations as well. And so it's been a big success. A lot of bookstore owners tell me like, "Oh my gosh, this just pops on the shelf," which is really a bonus for me.
And it makes you reach for it.
Yes, exactly. Is it real? Is it real?